The Speaker of the House of Representatives will be elected today, with Devraj Ghimire from CPN-UML and Ishwari Neupani from Nepali Congress registering their candidacies. Ghimire, most say, is likely to secure the win as he has the backing of the ruling alliance parties. Good morning, I'm Sarah Sapsanamma, and let's begin with the headlines of the hour. Devraj Ghimire of CPN-UML and Ishwari Neupani of Nepali Congress registered their candidacies for the Speaker of the House of Representatives. Election is scheduled for today. Prime Minister Dahal directs ministers to furnish work plan within 7 days for the implementation of the Common Minimum Programme. Presence of Foreign Affairs representative mandatory while meeting foreigners. New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern announces of plans to step down in early February, adding that she will not seek re-election. And Inter Milan lifts the Italian Super Cup title for a second consecutive year, thumping AC Milan 3-0 in the grand finale. The election for the Speaker of House of Representatives has been scheduled for today. Among the contenders are Devraj Ghimire from CPN-UML and Ishwari Devi Neupani from Nepali Congress. A meeting of the lower house has been called for 11 a.m. this morning for the same. Ghimire has the backing of the ruling alliance parties and was endorsed by lawmaker Subhash Chandra Nemwang. Congress candidate Neupani was endorsed by lawmakers Bishwa Prakash Sharma and has the support of CPN Unified Socialists. Candidates will need at least 138 votes from the 275-membered lower house to ensure victory. There are 145 lawmakers from the ruling coalition, including 79 lawmakers from CPN-UML, 32 from Maoist Centre, 20 from Rashtra Swatantra Party and 14 from Rashtra Prajatantra Party. 6 lawmakers from Janamat Party and 4 from Nagarik Unmukti have also expressed their support to the government. However, it is yet uncertain if they would vote for the ruling coalition's candidate for the Speaker post. In the opposition are Nepali Congress with 89 lawmakers, CPN Unified Socialists with 10 and Loktantrik Samajwadi with 4. One of Nepali Congress lawmaker is currently in suspension. Janata Samajwadi Party has said it will make a decision today on whether to lend support to the ruling alliance pick. Nepali Congress has issued a whip to vote for Ishwari Devi Neupani. A triangular contest between Prime Minister Pushpakamal Dahal, CPN-UML Chair KP Sharma Oli and Nepali Congress President Sher Bahadur Dewa has surfaced for the election of the country's President and the Speaker of the lower house. Congress President Dewa has been eyeing the post of the President for Nepali Congress, while Premier Dahal has agreed to give either the President or the Speaker to Congress, the largest party at the lower house. Meanwhile, Oli, who chaired the high-level political committee, has maintained CPN-UML's claims for both the positions. CPN-UML has claimed that as per the consensus reached on 25th of December at Oli's residence in Balkot, CPN Maoist Centre had received the top executive post. CPN-UML would get the President and both the parties would share the term of the Speaker. Maoist leaders too have not denied the claims made by CPN-UML regarding the Balkot consensus. However, Maoist leaders say the political equation has changed after Congress gave the trust vote to Premier Dahal and that reaching a consensus with the party is essential. This has caused polarization within the ruling coalition. During the all-party meeting, which included Nepali Congress on Tuesday at the Prime Minister's official residence in Balwatar, Oli recalled the Balkot agreement. However, Premier Dahal remained firm in his stance of including Nepali Congress. The election for the Speaker of the lower house has been slated for today amid such a division within the ruling alliance. The trilateral conflict is likely to extend until the election of the President. At the meeting of the Council of Ministers held yesterday, Prime Minister Pushpakamal Dahal has directed all ministries to furnish a work plan for the implementation of the government's Common Minimum Programme within a week's time. Likewise, the meeting has also decided to make it mandatory to include the presence of officials of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs during meetings with foreign representatives and diplomats. The Council of Ministers has also determined the price of sugarcane at 540 rupees per quintal, 70 rupees of which will be borne by the government. Likewise, the government has appointed Professor Dr. Devraj Adhikari as the chairperson for University Grant Commission UGC and transferred secretary at the Ministry for Physical Infrastructure and Transport to Ministry of Energy and vice versa. Minister for Communication and Information Technology Rekha Sharma has been appointed the government spokesperson as well. A team of French experts who arrived in Nepal to investigate the crash of the ill-fated aircraft of Yeti Airlines in Pokhara has reached the crash site. Meanwhile, the investigation team formed by the government to study the crash also began its works yesterday. The 9-member team of the French ATR company has taken stock of the crash site in Seti Gorge, Pokhara, and has also interacted with the local residents. The team has said that reason for the crash would be identified following talks with those involved in the flight. The French team did not interact with the media, citing no permission. As it was the first ATR aircraft crash in Nepal, the manufacturer of the aircraft has paid special interest in the crash. Meanwhile, the investigation team formed by the government to probe the crash also began its works. The 5-member investigation commission, led by former Secretary Nagendra Ghimire, began its work from Pokhara itself. Of the 72 on board the ill-fated aircraft, bodies of 71 have been recovered, while one individual is still missing and search operation is underway. 22 bodies have been handed over to the family of the deceased, while 49 bodies have been brought to Kathmandu for post-mortem and identification. Experts have suggested the government to implement ideas for increasing revenue and curbing expenditure to protect the Nepali economy. Addressing a program organized by the Nepal Chamber of Commerce, former Vice Chair of the National Planning Commission Swarnim Wagli gave example of Sri Lanka and added that expenditure could be reduced by curbing security personnel. Recently, Sri Lanka had announced of reducing its security personnel from more than 300,000 to 135,000. Wagli also suggested for restructuring government corporations. Former Finance Minister Yuvraj Khatiwala noted that the nation could be protected from financial risks by proceeding in a correct manner. Despite the government target of 8% economic growth rate, Khatiwala claimed that the growth rate would be limited between 4 and 5%. With increase in import, Khatiwala said that the risk of reduction of foreign reserve persisted. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Finance Bishnu Porel said the nation was in a critical financial situation. Saying that the government was working to identify the problems of national economy, Minister Porel added that the ministry was working to identify ways of increasing revenue. He further went on to add that efforts would be made to win the confidence of the private sector. At a time when tensions between global powerhouses and America and China are increasing, alongside regular border disputes between India and China, Nepal is in need of a balanced diplomatic approach. In addition to that, the new Minister for Foreign Affairs also faces the challenge of improving Nepal's degrading image at international forums. All political parties are on the same page in Nepal's non-aligned movement and not allowing Nepali territory to be used against any country. However, Nepal has failed in sustaining the trust of other nations and international forums because of contrasting approaches with regular changes in governments. Considering the geopolitical situation, the current major challenge is to present Nepal as a trustworthy neighbor, friend and partner for India, China and Western nations, along with development entities. Both China and the USA have expedited their Nepal visit of their high-ranking officials to maintain their influence, while relationship with India has cooled down because of the revised political map, including Lipulik and Limpiadhura, and halted recruitment of Nepalis in India's Agnipath program. Another challenge of Nepali diplomatic missions stationed abroad and the current government is also to ensure diplomatic efforts to give continuity to foreign aid, curb trade deficit and bring in foreign investment. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs therefore has the responsibility of prioritizing national interests amid the transforming international context to reap maximum benefits for the country. The lack of seasonal rainfall has affected winter plantation, and high hilly and mountainous regions have not witnessed snowfall this winter that they normally do during this season. Locals in the mountainous regions are waiting for snowfall, and domestic and international tourists that travel to see snowfall. The winter rain helps farmers in the hilly and mountainous regions raise potatoes, wheat and barley. While it had rained for 4 times during this same period last year, this year's winter, in fact, has yet to see rainfall, which experts have attributed to climate change. The lack of rainfall and irrigation facilities has affected the potatoes and wheat that farmers have planted last month. Local businesses add that the number of tourists have also relatively gone down. Meanwhile, meteorologists have predicted rainfall sometime next week. It's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion. The question is, what should be done to curb the impact of climate change? Your options are A. Conserve natural resources, B. Increase public awareness, and C. Reduce carbon emission. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. Senior ophthalmologist Dr. Sanduk Rohit has called for expanding eye treatment service throughout the country. Organizing a press conference yesterday, Dr. Rohit, who was awarded the prestigious IAC Award, identified the need for the state to expand health services across the country. Established in the name of Sheikh Isa bin Salman Al Khalifa, the former king of Bahrain, the award is given every 2 years to an individual or organization active in the field of human welfare from around the world. Rohit has said that him winning the award has helped in improving Nepal's image and prestige in the international community. After Dr. Rohit won the award, social media users had called for his appointment as the president. In this context, Dr. Rohit has said that a lot had to be done to make the designation of president better in Nepali context and added that it was not for him. The newly formed government has expressed commitment in ensuring access to health services for all as envisioned by the Constitution. However, considering the history of health services, massive challenges await the announcement. Not many are able to afford private health services due to exorbitant fees, while service seekers are compelled to line up for hours on a daily basis at government hospitals. The issue of lack of doctors and devices in public hospitals also remains the same. As a result, many patients have been deprived of treatment. Newly appointed ministers have said they are well aware of the problems in the health sector and have expressed commitment in solving them. Experts, meanwhile, have opined that there were adequate policies formed in the past to address the issues, but that they had not been implemented. In our Public Voice segment, we've asked people in several provinces what should the government do to facilitate the public access to health services. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
डाक्टरहरु राम्रो चाहियो औषधि मूल्य राम्रो चाहियो
आयुर्वेदिक उपचार प्रणालीलाई पनि व्यवस्थित गर्नुपर्छ
डाक्टर 24 घण्टा अस्पतालमा हुनु पर्यो
सरकारले निशुल्क उपचार सेवामा पनि लगानी गर्नु पर्यो हैन
स्वास्थ्य क्षेत्रका कर्मचारीहरूलाई सुधार्नु पर्छ
वृद्धावृद्धी अपाङ्गहरूलाई घर घरमै गएर पनि सेवा दिनु पर्यो
स्वास्थ्य बीमालाई राम्रो बनाउनु पर्यो
दक्ष डाक्टरको परिपूर्ति गर्नु पर्यो
भौगोलिक विकटतालाई पनि लक्षित हुने खालको चाहिँ सरकारले नीति ल्याइदिनु पर्यो
Let's move on to the international updates. New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern has announced of plans to step down in early February, adding that she will not seek re-election. Ardern's term will conclude no later than February 7, and she announced that a general election would be held on 14th of October. Ardern said she believed the New Zealand Labour Party would win the upcoming election and added that a vote to elect the next Labour leader would be held on Sunday. New Zealand Deputy Prime Minister Grant Robertson, who also serves as Finance Minister, said in a statement he would not seek to stand as the next Labour leader. As the country's youngest leader in more than a century, the charismatic 42-year-old's response to the mass shooting by a white supremacist in Christchurch, a fatal volcanic eruption, and her success with the COVID-19 pandemic has won her international praise and admiration. Having previously worked under former New Zealand Prime Minister Helen Clark and as an advisor to former British Prime Minister Tony Blair, Ardern rose to become Labour leader in 2017. Her communication skills and ability to connect with the public, dubbed Jacinda Mania, helped upstage the 2017 election, which had previously been seen as a shoo-in for the ruling centre-right National Party. She became New Zealand's third female Prime Minister in October 2017 through a coalition deal after an inconclusive election. The UN Deputy Secretary General has met Afghanistan's acting foreign minister to discuss women's education and work after Taliban authorities ordered most female NGO workers to stop work and barred women from attending universities. Amina Mohammed was in Kabul as part of a series of meetings that had included stops in Turkey, Qatar and Pakistan to discuss the situation in Afghanistan with diplomats, Afghan diaspora and the Organization of the Islamic Conference. Acting Foreign Minister Amir Khan Muttaqi said a lack of formal recognition, travel restrictions on Taliban leaders and banking sanctions were causing problems and that the international community should address them, according to a Foreign Ministry statement. He added that women were able to work in health and education sector. Now, Microsoft has announced of eliminating 10,000 jobs and take a $1.2 billion charge to earnings as its cloud computing customers reassess their spending and the company braces for potential recession. The layoffs, far larger than cuts by Microsoft last year, add to the tens of thousands of job cuts across the technology sector, which has downshifted following a strong growth period during the pandemic. The news comes even as the software maker is set to ramp up spending in generative artificial intelligence that the industry sees as a new bright spot. In a note to employees, CEO Satya Nadella said the layoffs affecting less than 5% of Microsoft's workforce would conclude by the end of March. However, Nadella added Microsoft would keep hiring in strategic areas. And that is all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.